All right, welcome back to the Golden Tee Lounge. Kevin Lindsay here. It is our final week of World Championship qualifying through events mode. Last couple weeks we've had some different voting options for each and every one of you out there through Golden Tee social media, Golden Tee Fan, and other social spots. A few weeks ago we did some mixed holes. Last week you guys voted for all par 5 mixed holes. This week, last week of qualifying, we're going to give you all 2019 par 3s. So par 3s, pretty clean win there for par 3s. There were a handful that wanted par 5s, but in the end, I think the par 3s won by about 30 or 40 votes. So, kicking things off here, let's get our club selection changed up. So, haven't had a chance to really play through this set yet. Was the one to create it, so if you have any problems with anything on here, go ahead and just yell at me for that. Because this is all par 3s, and hopefully we're not chipping out of the sand or rough too often, I'm just going to go ahead and throw my Zero Hybrid in there, just in case. Don't think you're going to need it, but I'd rather have it versus an extra lob or gap wedge that I wouldn't necessarily need. Grab our golf balls as usual, and let's get things started. Check in with everybody, so we should have everyone from Golden Tee, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure. Alright. Nothing too crazy in terms of the price structure for this week's event. It's what you guys have seen over the last few weeks. $9,425 in the prize pool today. And some pretty fun, hopefully, pretty fun par 3s here. Alright, kicking things off. What is this? Beals, or this is Sandhill actually. Now I do need to remember that with this Zero Hybrid set, I do not have super spin on my 9-iron. So, never have seen this tee box before. That's one thing that'll make this interesting. It's been a month of brand new tees, so hopefully by now you've seen all those combinations. Not sure if that's possible though. There is just so much, so many different pin placements, so many different tee boxes that the team created. So some of these might be brand new to you guys. And of course, because it is 2019, we threw in a little bit of Crawdad Swamp and Pine Meadow. Now, although I love this whole, is this 16, I believe, of Crawdad, I made sure to include it early on. Didn't want to break scores on just the second hole. Although I could have hit that probably just a little bit closer than I was. Danny Boy, appreciate the appreciation. Nick, Phil from Facebook, thank you guys as always. Hopefully some of you guys out there are enjoying Facebook's new top fan feature. I know actually this past weekend in St. Louis at the Missouri Open, met a lot of new players, a lot of new faces, which is always fun. Gotta be honest, it's still weird to have people come up to me and say, "You're the stream guy, aren't you?" And I always laughed at Adam for when people came to him at tournaments and even local places around here and thought that of him. But you know what? I like it. I have to say I enjoy it. I appreciate you guys. I'm glad that I can do at least a small part in helping you guys try to get better, you know, play more, and then and learn a little bit here and there. And hopefully with this being the last week of World Championship qualifying, scores, because they're all par 3s, scores are going to be low. You've got Andy Haas, two-time world champ, top place right now with 103 after 5 games, which is not as crazy as the rest of these scores have been throughout events mode. You're going to look at a couple 2, 3, 4, maybe 5-stroke bettors. Some of these par 3s have set up pretty hard, as at least that's what I'm told by some of our more vocal fans, but should be fun. Mike Serow, Russ Green, Scott Zoller, Shane Marquis, I can't remember if it's Marquis or Marquez, but Sugar Shane, Dan Gillard, Jim Klomp, Dean Lyakakos, Bryce Lepic, just a handful of names that are in the top 20 right now of players who have not qualified yet, but are on their way there throughout the leaderboard. So a lot of fun and exciting stuff. And even if you're a new player and you have the feeling, I don't know, can I really compete with these guys? Well, guess what? That's what these videos are here for. Even if you're not trying to qualify for the World Championship, get out there, play events mode. play against the best of the best as they try to qualify for the World Championship. Sirwa. Okay, well, thank you, Danny Boy, for actually giving me some important information. So it's Mike Sirwa, which is definitely nowhere near what I pronounced it earlier. So apologies to him. But after 5 games, these guys are shooting, 100s and 90s, which isn't difficult. Some of these setups, like I said, do end up pretty hard on the back end. I believe I was told 15, 16, 17, 18 are all a little bit harder for the first couple of games, but that is why we let you play as many games in events mode as you want. I think it's only actually 100, but if you're playing 100 games, then well, I appreciate you. Now remember, for those of you that are newer or have only really caught Daily Contest or Freaky Friday streams, events mode, every contest is going to be a different setup. So game 1, what you see in game 1 is the same for everybody who plays their first game and events this week, but it's not going to be like the Daily Contest where you actually are playing the same exact contest for the entire day. This one, throughout the week, all the setups are going to change based on the number of games that you have played. So what you guys see here on number 1 is exactly what you will see when you go to swipe in for your first events mode game. Well, hopefully right after this video, during lunch, after dinner. The important thing is that you get out there, play, try to qualify. Even if you don't qualify, if you play at least 5 games in this final World Championship qualifying event, you will get 60 Ts as a little bit of an added bonus there. Curtis, qualification predictions. You know what? Honestly, the top guy, I mean, this is only day 2, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be around that 100 to maybe 102. Might be a better question to ask after I've played a few setups, just to see, especially with the new tee boxes, how they play into effect. Maybe Danny Boy, if you've played a few games, or anybody else on our channels that have already played a handful of games, maybe get a little bit of insight on what you guys think as you've seen a lot of these setups. Also, shout out to Restream.io, which is our tool that we use to stream, because Facebook has now been so much more cleanly integrated, so I can just look at one screen and see everybody's chats instead of having to look at my phone for Facebook and then to Restream for everything else. So that will make interaction with your guys' comments and questions and concerns a lot better. My friend Cam, who is trying to call me out on YouTube, says, after seeing my closest to the pin play, I'm expecting 14 at best. Wow, the timing on that couldn't have been perfect, Cam. Just like when we played closest to the pin for fun over the weekend, that's another hole-in-one. So thank you for that shout-out, my friend. It was good seeing you. Appreciate those couple of dollars that we won. But normally I skip these, but Cam, I just want you to watch this. I mean, not bad for somebody who's only going to shoot 114. I'm sorry, Cam. It's just the timing was perfect. That's what happens when you go to these tournaments, by the way. If you haven't been to one yet, just ask the question on Golden Tee Fan or on social media, on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you're at. And just ask what it's like to be at a Golden Tee tournament. I can only talk about it so much. There's only so much we can show you before you actually show up and understand. I'd have to check with Power Events, but I would say we had at least 8 new players playing in main events, and you guys fit in very well and all had fun. So that's why sometimes the interactions between me and some of you guys commentating, if you don't know, these are people that I've met throughout the years that like to give me a hard time. So the rare moments where I actually play good on the live stream and can and push back and have some fun, I'm going to take full advantage of that. So after 13 holes, again, par 3 is pretty straightforward. You're going to want to get at least minus 18 across the board, just because, well, that's a birdie on every hole. I did see the setup. This is a lot better than it actually turned out in qualifying at the 2019 Missouri Open. This is probably going to, I've not actually ever hit this tee box, so this is probably getting wet. Yeah. Never played that tee box before. Saw the look this weekend in St. Louis and was glad that I was not qualifying. So hopefully if games, you know, after game 1, if we can get nicer setups on, well, hole 17 at Catadreas, but hole 14 this week, I'd be much appreciative. Oh. Daniel Rush from YouTube, appreciate you joining us. You know, we all started somewhere. You know, anytime, we've all been there somewhere back in the day, whether it was years ago, a couple weeks ago. You know, you have to start somewhere when you start playing this game, so I appreciate you coming out and joining us. Now, that's going to be, well, that made it to the green, but that was an awful shot. I actually might change up my build-a-bag here because I do not like not having the super spin 9-iron. But so far, I haven't actually seen a need for the zero hybrid, so we're just going to ignore my awful shots these couple holes. I think we might be able to get away with not having the zero hybrid in the bag. Danny Boy or Sean Gervais, any of you guys that have already played could probably speak to that a bit more, but I just put it in there as a precaution, knowing that some of these setups could be could use zero hybrid, but it looks like we'll actually be pretty safe to take it out of the bag.
Okay, he's got a chance from there.
So, Brian, if you are looking to buy Golden Tee, there's two different routes. If you are just a fan of the game and you want to get one for your basement, garage, man cave, anything like that, you can go to home.goldentee.com and reach out to some of our team. Kelsey and Josh will take care of you and get you set up with a new home edition. If you actually own a bar, restaurant, or public establishment, you can reach out to us as well on itsgames.com, so itsgames.com, and then look for the section that talks about amusements and then operators, and then essentially you could potentially become an operator and have Golden Tees in your establishment. So when I created this list of 18 holes, I wanted to make the last couple of holes challenging. I didn't want them to be brutal, but I wanted them to be challenging, and it looks like the 17 and 18 are setting up very, very, very nasty for game 1, but nothing too crazy. Don't get wet. Oh, that was just bad bounces.
That would have been nice if it didn't hit that.
So Danny Boy on YouTube says
Has to be soft.
only played 5, didn't bother making a bag, but the guys going for the new spots should definitely do that. Brian, thank you again. Appreciate you guys joining us and throwing out the love. Now, don't pay attention to the score because I was messing around a bit on the last, 6 or 7 holes. But all par 3 is pretty straightforward. You're going to want to get at least a birdie on each of them. You just saw the first setup is not the easiest when it comes down to the final few holes, but nothing that's not manageable with the right club set. Actually, we will be right back. I want to make sure I switch the graphic that shows we are not using the zero bird in case you guys go out there to build a bag or two. All right, perfect. So bag is updated because we are going to take the zero hybrid out. Let's go ahead and make sure we actually change that before we tee off as well. So everything should be there. We should have a lob wedge, super spin gap wedge, 9, 8, 6, 5 hybrid, 8 wood, 3 hybrid, 6 wood, 5. Okay, perfect. Daniel. Request for left-hand player, yes. Eventually, and when I say eventually, like years from now, not as easy as one would think to implement, but it's definitely on Oh, definitely on our radar. I would have felt so comfortable if I just ultra shot at the first par 3. Would have just probably stopped streaming. Shane also suggests, and actually Shane is one of the guys on YouTube who is joining us now. I also just said that a new bag is going to be necessary, so most likely what you guys use in terms of your Build-A-Bag or club set for normal 18s is not going to be what you approach this events mode contest with. I felt really confident in that shot, and I paid for it dearly.
Just outside the green.
Oh man, we're just starting this stream off on the real wrong foot here.
Stands before the ball.
All right, nothing like double bogey chipping in on hole 2. So hole 2 of game 2, make sure that you use bite or backspin, because just pushing at it with nothing, poor decision, especially on the live stream. Little Catadray Beach action. I don't think hole 3 here, which I believe is maybe number 7 or 8, something like that on the front 9. I don't think you have too many tee box options other than that, 5 3 wood distance. Daniel Brummett. Yes. We're in Vernon Hills, which is a northwest-ish suburb. We'll just call it a north suburb of Chicago. Oh, you know what, Cam? I just read your comment saying that's the Lindsay I know, and then I hit the shot. Was really hoping. For a second, I thought I had the line until the extra backspin kicked in. A little bit of Pine Meadow. Not just my chipping friend, but my par 3 friend as well, the 5 hybrid. Well, this is an interesting look here. So, hole 6. We're just gonna go ahead and try something crazy. Low tee 5 wood. Well, that actually might work. Oh, just kidding. Low tee 5 wood almost worked. No love there that time. For those of you that guys have played events vote so far on Monday, appreciate you guys, because it was our biggest events mode day yet. I think it's a good combination between the last week of World Championship qualifying and also being all par 3s, because what's the math here? 96? What's the math? I'm not good at math, so I am going to pull out my calculator here. I mean, you shoot birdie, you should get birdies on all 18 holes for 5 games. You're looking at 90. And realistically, 90 under after 5 games is not bad. You're talking about 15th place right now. So, in some of these holes, I mean, if I could ace one hole on game 1 and almost ace another one on game 2, and we're just getting started, I think definitely some opportunity to get out there and get some extra scores in this week. Nick, all the finalists have been decided for Design a Hole. We have the second one that came out, Menacing Medley, I believe. So go check it out on Golden Tee's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let us know what you think. It's a drivable par 4 with a few different interesting setups. Oh, how did that not get in? Agave Ranch. More 6 and 8 wood shots in game 2 than I would have expected.
Wow, that was dead on. Excellent work, Peter. Number 1, ready to hit. This putt is for birdie.
You know, Rich, actually, I was joking with some people in the office, I said exactly something similar to that effect, that, you know, although I can play really well if I really wanted to, and most of the time I try to play good. Come on! Oh! You know, as much as I personally, as a competitor, I hate getting wet and I get in the water and, you know, like hole 2, screwing that up in live stream. It just drives me wild, but it does make me feel like you guys, and some of the people I've met over the course of the few years, have really said the same thing, that, you know, seeing the live streams and seeing somebody like me hit a water ball every once in a while does make them feel a little bit better about when they do it. Even when you watch some of these tournament events, you know, like the Missouri Open that just happened this past weekend, you're going to see even the best of the best have a mistake or two. It's rare that they have a mistake, but it's still something that can happen. So don't think that everybody is perfect, because we're not, although we try to be. Thank goodness this whole number 14, Cat Andreas 17. Thankfully, this is a nicer setup. I'm probably going to miss this chip. A lot nicer than what Game 1 provided. Oh, look at that. Should probably YouTube that, because I didn't think that was going in. Yeah, lots of 6 and 8 wood setups. Especially nice when I hit my 6 wood way too soft. Try a full there on number 16 just to play against that wind. Not really good setups. So it might take you a few games to get comfortable in this events mode. Oh yeah. Wow, I hit that very soft, and I'm still going to get, well, we're not going to have a good time, let's just say. Yeah, so be careful of those slopes on 15 and 17. Really going to hurt your game. Those are the type of shots that you want to play safe rather than sorry. I mean, a par is better than a bogey, but really just have to be careful when it comes to that kind of stuff. Earl, appreciate the fact that you're loving the mobile beta, and glad that you are enjoying these streams as well. You know, maybe we will, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but you know, maybe we could do a live stream of the mobile game. I'll talk to some of the mobile team and see how they would feel about it. Because it would be good to get you guys in, maybe just a few minute walkthrough of how to get started. You know, a lot of you guys have already mobile tested. Before anybody asks, it's still going to most likely come out in the summer. Maybe I should just say the more you ask, the farther back we're going to push it back. Just kidding, of course. But that would actually, it's been a while since we've teased the mobile game, so maybe that's something that I can talk to the team with and see what they think. So maybe, just maybe, we'll do that for you. Alright, so we're now going on game 3. We're going to get a bit more serious here. No more water balls. All hole-in-ones and birdies.
That'll stay. Get your putter.
Birdie effort. Yes, count it. It's in. Call for one and a tee.
I like this setup so much better because the chances of me hitting a water are very small. Not completely gone, apparently, but here we go again, I guess. I think because I know it's a par 3 contest, I'm just trying to get as close as I can to the hole, and like ignoring the fact that you guys are watching a live stream, and I'm just, you know, getting in my own head of how I want to play. That's alright though.
It might do it.
A nice birdie opportunity. Call for one. Ready to hit.
Alright, this might be going in, just throwing it out there. I feel very confident in it.
Great.
Oh, come on! How are you gonna roll right on by the cup when I called the shot? It's like somebody robbing Babe Ruth at the fence.
Golfer 1 at the tee.
No, Curtis, we do not have a setup like that, unfortunately. Oh, that might go in. Nope, just kidding. On the left side of the cup now. We'll just make sure that we get we burn the edges of the left, right, dead center. I'm sure I'll try to hit it off the cup at this point. Another one of those holes. We're just going to play it safe. We're not going to even mess with the tiered green. Let's just get it up there and have a nice putt in for birdie.
Well, it's on the green, Peter. Birdie with this putt. Let's watch the tee shot of golfer 1.
Crawdad Swamp, hole 13, I believe.
Let's hope
Pretty clean look so far. I don't think this one's really ever set up. It's got a tiered green, but nothing compared to some of the 2019 courses.
golfer 1 on tee.
How did I? Oh. Nah, I didn't pay attention to my own self when I was creating my Build-A-Bag, or when I was choosing my Build-A-Bag, because I went back to a bag that had the Zero Hybrid. So, even though I had a really good shot with the Zero Hybrid, club's definitely not needed. So what am I missing then?
On tee now, golfer 1.
Oh, you know, that's what I did. So when that's right. So when I went from game 2 to game 3, it didn't automatically change my club set to what I was using before, and I was sure I was flapping my lips, so I didn't think about it. So that would explain why I have the Zero Hybrid again. So every mistake I make, whether it relates to Zero Hybrid or not, I'm just going to blame it on the bag. So let me change that now before I forget and go ahead and make sure that I have my default equipment set up.
Ready at the tee. It's golfer 1.
Alright, perfect. I have fixed my default bag, and we're ready to rock and roll from this point forward.
You'll be happy with this.
The old Texas wedge.
Golfer 1 from the tee box.
Since there's a low chance of screwing this one up and getting wet, we're just going to have some fun here. See if we can get a nice YouTube out of this. Oh, just kidding. It's going to stick on the fringe.
Why bother with a putter? Ready to tee off. It's golfer 1.
Shout out to Crawdad Swamp, because so far all the looks have been very good. Just terrible playing on my part for the first par 3 that we included. But the course that I was concerned about possibly being a little bit difficult was actually pretty nice.
Ready at the tee. It's golfer 1.
Pine Meadow, real short setup here for game 3 on hole 13. So make sure you take that into account when you're building a new bag.
As this for birdie. Golfer 1 ready to hit.
Hoping for some release love and not wet release.
Sticky breaks, Peter.
Woo, that was almost good. Not sure how that almost went in the water, but
Is ready to tee off.
all good. Finally, a closer setup on this Beals Creek hole, even though I'm sure I'll probably still get wet. Almost wet.
Right near the green. No need to cut here, Peter. Ready to tee off. It's golfer 1.
It's finally a nice setup here on Agave.
Is this one going to go in?
Now remember, even if you're only getting, you know, even if you're only getting a birdie on these holes and you're not finding a lot of them to hit a hole out, you know, great shot points are going to add up. And yes, Curtis, I stopped talking because I realized how that was going to come across to a bunch of people. So thank you for that.
Nice bite. That'll check out.
It's in for a birdie two. Teeing it up for the last time today. It's golfer.
All right. Hole 18, Pine Meadow 16 or 17. Oh wow, the wind really ate that one. I mean, I pushed that out far right, and the wind just, even though it was only blowing a little bit to the left, just ate that one all up. Now, because this is all par 3 contest, and normally we play 5 full games for you, you know, we've only been, what, live for 30 minutes, and we're already halfway through. So we'll see how the next couple of games go. If I can actually play Golden Tee like I would like you to go out there and play Golden Tee, maybe we will play a few more games. Let's just see how the setups are. Now, since I broke my own rule that I brought up the first time about getting wet on not getting wet at all this game, I'm going to go ahead and say that we are not going to hit water at all in Game 4. As long as my club set changed, which it looks like it did, so we are already off to a good start. Super spin, 9-iron here for hole 2 of Crawdad.
Just hit it too hard.
Now, because I hit it hard enough, I don't have to worry about it falling over the ledge and getting wet. So I will take that birdie on hole 2 and walk away proud. Finally, a shorter look here on Catadreus. Pretty easy 5-bird setup. Not sure what it is about Beals on this week's events mode, but they all seem to want to show up as long wooded looks. But nothing we can't handle. Pretty straightforward so far. Oh. Again, remember that with this being an all par 3 contest, every stroke's going to count. So even as much as you'd want to... Okay, stop. I didn't even hit that hard. I genuinely hit that soft so I could play it safe while talking about playing it safe. Clearly, the game didn't get the memo because it actually, you know, rolled down this little path. Saving par, but again, even on the most gentle of tiered greens, you need to be careful. Because even right there, I was just playing it safe and trying to stay out of the rough and almost ended up wet on the Catadreus par 3. Aaron, you're late to the party because I already hit a home run. But second of all, I absolutely positively hate Malure, so hopefully this is good for you. Darn it. Very, very short look here on the next field setup, but it actually works out very well for my super spin lob wedge, who's just gonna, well, almost eat it all up and get in the hole, but instead it ate it all, got all the backspin, and then just unfortunately ended up in the water. Almost felt bad about my score, and then remembered that this was an all par 3 contest with just a few mistakes here and there, so nothing terrible. But again, for this last week of World Championship qualifying, where the scores are going to be, they're going to be low scores, but not unreachable. you're gonna
At the tee.
want to make sure that you're bringing your A game, which I'm still not sure where mine's at. There's like a B+ game right there, getting great shot points.
Golfer 1 on tee.
And I notice on a lot of these setups, I'm not pulling back, which is something I think most people don't think about as much. I know when I first started playing many, many years ago, I did not really pull back unless I needed to for a chip. All my pro shots, I just hit it forward. But personally, I feel like pulling back gives you a bit more control. But on some of those instances where I'm playing against a straight wind or a wind that's blowing a hair right or a hair left, that's why I just push it, because I want to hit it as straight as possible to kind of play against that wind and hopefully roll in the cup. Back to this long tee box here, but at least we're on the lower side of the tier, which I wish I would have thought about before actually hitting my shot.
Here's the backspin. Golfer 1, a birdie putt.
Boom, look at that. If you ever needed an expert tutorial on how to putt off of a tiered green, apparently this is the second part of my stream.
On tee now. It's golfer 1.
Just like we talked about before, safe is better than sorry, which is why I'm getting nowhere near the pin on Agave Ranch number 16. I just want to put in for birdie and have a halfway decent score.
Golfer 1 at the tee.
I'm going to try something interesting here that I'm probably going to regret, because it didn't even actually hit the... What I was trying to do was hit the tiered green and then have it roll up into the hole for a really cool shot of the day. It didn't happen. It actually didn't even hit the tiered green. It just hit the green and rolled in the rough. But still not bad overall. Finally, somewhat decent setup on Pine 17, which then got the assist from the big pile of dirt to get wet in.
Don't want to run it. This will take a lifetime.
Yeah. I think actually, Aaron, the better play would have been take a shot on the lower every time that this goes into the water.
He'll be happy with that.
But that wouldn't be as fun for you. So, yes, hole 18 is tough. I knew before I even hit that I should not hit the 5 hybrid, because the 5 hybrid comes in a lot lower than an iron, which is going to mean I'm going to hit that little mound of dirt. Thank you. You're going to hit that mound of dirt and then potentially roll off in the water, which is actually 110% what happened. So, 5th game might be the final one we play, depending on if I actually stop hitting the water or not.
Started with Jim and Peter at Sand Hill Woods.
But let's rock this one. So,
In the tower with Peter. Ready to do this?
we can just kick it off with hole 1. I feel so much better. No hole out, but we will take some nice, great shot points to kick off this 5th round of events mode.
And now the tee shot of golfer.
Final week of World Championship qualifying through events mode. After this event is done, I do have to triple check this, but I believe we'll be taking a week off and then back to our regular week on, week off schedule for the time being. Can't say for sure. Maybe we'll just make all par 3s every week and see how you guys like it. But if you don't qualify through this week's events mode, you have the money shot contest on Friday, May 15th. Let me just check my dates there. Nope, not close. It's actually the 17th. I'm not good at looking at a calendar apparently, so don't worry there. But yeah, actually it's Monday, May 10th, or excuse me, Friday, May 10th. So that's 2 weeks from, a little under 2 weeks from now. Yeah, it's about a week and a half away from now. So we will make sure that you guys are well aware on being able to play that. So if you take the first spot in the Money Shot contest on Friday, May 10th, and you have not yet qualified for the World Championship, you will receive entry into the World Championship. That'll be our 73rd spot. And then the 74th and final spot is going to go to our winner of the Friday night closest to the pin contest, live at the Orleans Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. So June 21st, get out to Las Vegas, go with your friends, come out to join the Golden Tee family, hang out and have fun. Even if you don't qualify or haven't qualified up to that point, we are going to have a closest to the pin contest that is exclusive to non-qualifiers, which is different than last year. Last year we put them all together, but this year it's not. It's exclusive to non-qualifiers, and we'll have a different fun contest for anybody who's already qualified for the World Championships up till that point. So all non-qualifiers, which means whether you're somebody from Chicago who just says, you know what, I want to join everybody out in Vegas, or you're somebody from Florida who says, hey, I'll go from one hot area of the world to another in the U.S., or you can do stuff like, I was going to say do stuff like this and hit hole-in-ones and par threes, but that didn't happen. But no matter your skill level, no matter whether you think you can win the World Championship or not, Earl, I'm not sure exactly what you sent, so you're going to have to clarify with some text for me, my friend. But go to Las Vegas, play in the Closest to the Pin event. Even if you think you are just an average player, anybody can win the Closest to the Pin. Now let me tell you, the experience that you would get qualifying with 73 other top players of Golden Tee in the world, and also getting to compete on Sunday on the grand stage at the Orleans, and get live streams, interviews, all kinds of stuff that we haven't even talked about. But here, the other thing is, if you say, oh, well, it costs money to get to Vegas. Well, if you just qualify, if you win the entry in the World Championship, that's at least, I think, $500, $600. Even if you qualified dead last and then went 0-2 in match play, it's still money in your pocket that you get for joining the World Championship and having fun, being on the live stream, being interviewed, all kinds of fun and crazy stuff. If you need any explanation as to what happened last year, go to Golden Tee TV's YouTube, go to our YouTube, Facebook, see all the videos and the photos and the craziness from last year. Even bigger and better than last year, which is hard to believe, but it's absolutely coming. So just a lot of stuff going on that you should be a part of.
Killed it, Jim.
I thankfully will not be competing. I will be helping run the event, doing commentary, doing all kinds of crazy stuff, because I'm just, as good as I am, I'm not that good. Does not pulling back affect the spin you put on the ball? Well, the only reason it really would affect the spin is just going to be because of the distance and how hard you hit it. Like with the grabbers, obviously the farther you hit it, the more spin you're going to get sometimes with at least the irons in that super spin. Have I hit the water yet? I don't know if I've hit the water yet. I can't remember. I don't think I have. I think we've gotten close. I've just been ignoring it if we have.
He puts the brakes on it.
Actually, no, we haven't hit the water because we are 13 after 13 holes, which is shocking. Lots of love for this new tee box off the top of a cliff on Catadreas Beach here, number 60. Oh, is that going in? Oh, I will take that. I'm going to make that a shot of the day because that actually just seems so nice. But because I don't, I unfortunately don't trust any of you, and I mean that with the most love and admiration in the world, I don't trust you guys enough to have my phone number, and I don't even trust the people that already have my number because I just don't. So you don't get to see me sending my information to YouTube, but you do get to watch this replay of another par 3 hole-in-one, which hopefully our friend Aaron is doing a shot of Malore somewhere. I hope not for his sake, but that's what floats your boat. I can't really stop you. And good chance that we do it this in typical Kevin Lindsay fashion of hit a hole-in-one and then followed up with a water ball. because I just don't know how to hit my 5-wood hard enough to get on the green. Look at that.
It's safe.
Boom, on the green somehow. Definitely should have been a water ball. But we're on the green after the hole in one, saving that halfway decent score. I'm going to low tee a super spin G wedge, and hopefully this actually goes in the hole as well. Not in the hole, but close enough. Putting in for birdie with no problems. Sorry, Aaron. Sad face, my friend. And yes, Curtis, thank you for the reminder. So last year we had World Championship betting odds at Boyd Properties. Is not 100% a done deal yet for this year, but we are working towards that happening. So if and when that happens, you will be able to bet on anybody in the World Championship. Also, yourself, if you want to, if you're feeling confident, but you can go ahead and bet at the Orleans and other Boyd Properties for the World Championship. Working on making that happen again for all of our qualifiers this year, because it was a lot of fun for us, and we know you all enjoyed it. End with a hole in one. Oh, just kidding. Right in the water. That was one of those that if it hit the green, it was definitely going in, but instead we hit the water. So in shocking fashion, I couldn't complete it. Hit a hole in one on a difficult hole from Catadreas, and then watered 18. So we are going to play one more. This is game 6. We're giving you a special 6-game or 7-game hole preview. 6, well, we'll play 6 games and then probably get out of here for the day and then join you later in the week for more Golden Tee events action. Aaron, best times to use low tee. I use low tee on a drivable on a par 3 when I want extra spin. So because my irons almost all the time have super spin on them or partial spin, anytime I want to get more backspin, but I don't want to necessarily club up or cut into the ball more, I will use a low tee. I think there's a couple holes where I've done that. Oh yeah, the Agave Ranch hole, I did that. Hole 17 of this week's events mode. Because I didn't want to even play around with hitting it past the green and getting wet, I just wanted the extra spin. So that's why I use a low tee. Other times, when it comes to playing just regular Golden Tee, most people are going to use a low tee to try to potentially skip the water and get a little bit of extra distance. Just really depends on the situation.
Drop, stop, and roll.
Always remember to stay hydrated when you're playing Golden Tee. Not always, but it is a marathon sport sometimes. Alright, we're going to go no spin 5 or 6 wood here. We're just rocking this right in the cup. Oh, dang it. If I would have had release and caught that fringe at the same point, we would have actually had that in. Alright, now Pine Meadow, we really haven't had to deal with this too much, but be careful of that tiered green. It's not going to be hard to putt on. It's just not going to be fun. So that's why I'm going to take the 8-wood. I'm going to hit it a little bit harder than normal. A little bit harder than I wanted to, but I'm still on the green, and then just have a pretty easy, straightforward chip in for birdie. 6-iron with super spin for me. I'm just going to cut it a little bit just to take some of the distance off, but also hopefully just stay on that green. Unintentionally going to get great shot points, but I will take it. Remember, for holes like this, where using a hybrid versus an iron, you're going to come in to the green a bit hotter. You're going to have less loft. So when you're dealing with that top part of Crawdad Swamps par 3, just be careful. That was the problem I ran into with Pine Meadow hole 18 a few times. Is I just wasn't thinking about the low loft of the hybrid. Oh, come on. Another Beals Creek par 3 here. Not sure why Beals Creek is giving me such a problem, but look at that, 9 after 9 bombs, which means we have got birdies on all par 3s so far. Hopefully we hit the fringe and continue that here. Look at that. Shot points? Oh, just past the point of no return for great shot points.
Call for one. On the tee box.
The one thing especially the newer players who might not play a lot of repetitive Golden Tee like this or the daily contest, that was a good example of a tee shot where I didn't want to necessarily hit into the wind, so I just moved the tee box to the right and moved it back a little bit to basically take the wind out of play, knowing very well that I can hit good shots pretty straightforward, so I just used the tee to my advantage to do that. So instead of worrying about pulling my shot back to play the wind, I just moved that tee to do that. And that's what you'll see in a lot of matches, a lot of live streams, a lot of daily contests that the top guys play, is that you'll see them move their tee box and take more time than the average player would think. Okay, I can understand why I would move the tee box halfway if I want to cut the distance, but you'll see these guys like make minor adjustments from like here to here or there. And it might seem at times like they're just crazy and really particular, but it does actually play into effect. So I'm going to put my tee box right here. It's a 9-iron shot with bite. I got to be careful because these trees are right in our face, which means I've got to play against the wind. And I hit that too hard. No, I hit it a little hard, but not enough to get wet. Actually, we're going to get some shot points out of that. But I left it towards the middle of the box, or tried to, because I didn't want it to go all the way back and lose more distance. I know the way that I hit the ball, and it's a real finesse. All right, difficult look here from hole 14. Not sure we're going to be acing it like we did last time. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of cut in a low 9.5 degree driver and hope for the best. Which, wow, I actually can't believe that exactly what I envisioned in my head is exactly what just happened there. Daniel asks, is it possible to play a friend at a remote location? I'm at my bar, he's at his bar. Can we play online versus each other? So there's not a way to actually play like head-to-head and actually see the shots that they're hitting at the same time. The one thing that you could do is you could play invitational contests through the GT Caddy. So you go and invite your friend to play, and then you guys go out there, and then you can play each of your bars. You're not going to see the dynamic scores like you do in a regular contest. That's something that we're hoping to have come, in a future Golden Tee update, especially when it comes to bandwidth and the amount of data it takes to do that. Something that's on our wish list for the future, absolutely, though.
Right club, but way too much hit.
The backspin kept it right there.
All right, so barring any craziness of hole 17, 18, looks like we are going to walk away with a minus 18, I hope. I'm going to low tee this G wedge, and I'm going to hit it very softly with backspin. Oh, didn't even think about the tiered part of the green running behind me, so be careful of that with game 6's setup. Look at this. This is actually beautiful. 5 bird setup right down the middle. Hopefully this goes in and we can leave on a high note. Okay, didn't get the hole in 1 to walk away with, but I'm okay with the fact that we are finally putting in for hole 18 for birdie. So, World Championship events mode qualifying this week. All par 3s from 2019 courses. Get out there, play as many games as you want throughout the week. 6 more people, possibly 7, getting their entry into the World Championships this week. We'll have more on that this afternoon, but it looks like we have a few people that might not be able to make it. So as soon as that happens, we will absolutely positively let you guys know. But just know that there's a chance that there might be 6 or 7 spots on the line this week for the World Championship. So hopefully this video this week was somewhat of a good example as to what to do and what not to do. There's a lot there to play with, but we also have Throwback Thursday coming up this week, Freaky Friday, probably do another stream tomorrow for a couple more games of events mode since it is par 3s. So just stay tuned and pay attention to Golden Tee's Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, and something else I'm missing. Our Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. Yeah, all 5. Check out those channels, and we'll have a lot more World Championship content coming up and a lot more videos coming soon. So until next time, Kevin Lindsay of the Golden Tee Lounge, thanks for joining us.